Can we use this light to mean yes? Just a flicker so that we know that you understand.
Deal of the century in the movie Deal with the Devil, which is originally known as The Tempter. Now this one is written and directed by Benjamin Thomas. Now this focuses on two separate timelines, one a contemporary in the kind of, I guess we call it the present, and then one a little while ago, a few years ago. Now in the present timeline we have this journalist who has rented out this property that used to belong to a purported serial killer, and he kind of wants to kind of write a piece or write a kind of some type of journalistic endeavour about what actually happened, interviewing kind of people that may have been kind of involved somehow. And then we have our past timeline, which is obviously a short time before this, and then it actually deals with this guy who is at the end of his rope, and on the kind of like the out of pure desperation, he ends up making a deal with the devil. This devil called Baal, who looks a bit like Jesus from The Walking Dead. And this demon basically offers him what the garden variety demon does: fame, fortune, etc., for the simple price of offering him some entertainment, which I thought was quite nice because he's very vague in what he actually wants in return. But what he does actually want, when push comes to shove, is for this guy to murder women just for his entertainment and to kind of take trophies and stuff like that. So inevitably, this is what this guy has to do, and hence why he's a serial killer ultimately. So it follows those two kind of separate kind of timelines. So what do we think of Deal with the Devil? Well, it's a fairly low budget movie. Now I would class this as a drama horror. Now I say that because, in actual fact, even though despite this is dealing with the devil, there's not really much horror here. There's no jump scares, there's no gore, there's no real creepy atmosphere, there's no real kind of display of supernatural stuff on screen. Now I would liken this almost to the movie The Prophecy, which I wouldn't be surprised if this is kind of was actually an influence to Deal with the Devil, because it just, the way the kind of this demon is kind of portrayed, it really reminds me of Viggo Mortensen from the Prophecy movies. So I gotta be this. I think it's an influence. But anyway, I think he's the best part of this movie. The actual guy who plays the devil, very charismatic. He kind of looks a bit like a bit of a hipster. But I thought he did a great job of kind of seeming kind of somewhat kind of seductive in the way he kind of approaches things and kind of offers what seemingly is going to be a great deal without really kind of going into the details. I thought he's the best thing in the movie. In the actual past storyline, where we see this kind of guy's kind of rise to fame and fortune, although it does seem to be fairly low key despite that, then ultimately what he has to do to kind of pay the devil back, which is murdering women. I've got to say, however, the kind of present day storyline is no way as interesting, because it's just this journalist who is basically interviewing a load of people, and you don't care. You simply don't care about that modern storyline. It's just way less interesting than the kind of like the story that actually deals with the kind of the demonic possession. And I've got to say, I thought the actors in the present storyline didn't seem quite as good either. I think the acting was quite as on par. It's by no means terrible, but just it just doesn't. It's not very engaging. And the movie itself, like I've said, there's not much to it. When it's all said and done, I've told you the synopsis of the movie. There's really not much more to this movie than what I've kind of said. I mean, so you might be expecting some kind of big twists and kind of turns, but it doesn't really ever happen. It's just kind of like, it does what it says in the tin, and it's nothing more. So it's kind of a no frills, so we sold to the devil kind of movie, really. I mean, they try and kind of be a little bit kind of clever with having these kind of two sort of timelines running sort of like time by time, and it will jump between the two of them. The story is, the narrative is somewhat non-linear, but that's the kind of the most creative thing in the film. So overall, I would say this movie isn't a bad film, but it's just very kind of run-of-the-mill. It's workmanlike. I don't think it's a bad film, but I would say it certainly isn't anything to write home about. I would imagine if you are interested in kind of this type of thing, like a more dramatic kind of supernatural movie rather than a horror one, you'll kind of probably watch this once, and if you don't mind lower budget films, you'll kind of enjoy it for what it is, but you'll have absolutely no desire to watch this one again. It has zero repeat viewing value. So, you know, it's just okay, to be quite honest. I think it's like, it's fairly competently made, but there's no kind of pizzazz with it. There's no kind of like real kind of directorial flourishes or things like that. The best thing in the movie is the guy who plays the devil, but the rest of the movie surrounding him is a little weaker. So I'll give this one a 5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me comments, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.